foremost, for everybody that's watching, if you guys don't know who Alec Hanson is, he is the man pretty much. I mean, I've been around a ton of great leaders. I really have. I've been around some really cool leaders, and just being in the mortgage industry for 14 years, all I can say is you're real and you know your stuff. So thank you so much for jumping on this with me. You actually put me onto this service StreamYard. I about lost my mind last night because Zoom broke down for me and I can no longer use it to stream live. So
I understand.
All kinds of cool stuff. I can't wait to utilize it more, actually, because I found out you can have like WWF walkout music to it.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I went through all the tutorials. You can have like entrance music for people.
That's epic.
It's fantastic. I've always wanted that. It's been one of my really good friends, Renee Rodriguez. He currently has walkout music now when he does his speaking tours. So
dude, Renee is a gifted man. He's doing incredible things right now.
I mean, I don't know what strings you have to pull to have walkout music, but they must be awesome. So the reason why I wanted to bring you on was I went to something called, they call it NHO, New Hire
Orientation. Yes.
I just remember the acronym. It was down in Scottsdale. It was fantastic. And, you know, this just goes to speak how cool loanDepot is. They fly into Scottsdale and all of the different leadership members from different regions fly in. And so I got to meet you. And for some reason, I just felt like, man, me and this guy, we connect, we have fun. This is cool. So I've been watching a lot of your live broadcasts and taking bits and pieces from it and implementing it into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just wanted to ask a few questions. So first question is, man, how long have you been in the industry now?
I started in 2003.
Okay.
Yeah. I started as basically a receptionist, but I was in processing. I was a processor 3 in an operations center. I ordered appraisals for a summer job. And then I couldn't handle it. It was too much. So I went down to the sales office and I was a receptionist and I got $90 a loan doing HELOCs in a strip mall for people that walked in and wanted a HELOC.
That is amazing.
It was the time, dude. It was the time.
Exactly what your theme music would be now for your walkout music. It would be great. Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
That's the best part about this industry is it really does reward hard work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you're willing to put in the effort and you're willing to learn and grow, man, the mortgage space, I've seen incredible careers happen for people that are willing to really work hard.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So I know that in 2004, so about while you were still ordering appraisals, I actually bought my first house. And there's so many different things that are going on inside of the crisis, or I'm sorry, health epidemic or pandemic that we're facing.
I think crisis is fine. I think that's a fine word.
It just is what it is, man.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, you've got now, so what would that be? That'd be 17 years experience.
Give or take.
Yep. Been in the role of VP. So you have all this industry knowledge, almost 20 years. If you're buying a house today, what is your probably 3 big takeaways? Like, what would you use today to have an advantage if you were buying a house?
Well, I mean, I think you have to segment it a little bit. If you have a time machine, you know that there's people in dire straits right now, and so for those people, you know, we just give them our love and and we just hope they can get through this and our help and try to serve those people. But there are also people that are strong financially right now that are looking at this market and trying to figure out what to do and what their opportunities are. And I always frame it up like this: if you're going to buy right now in this time of uncertainty, when you think you're getting a great deal, or it's the right time for you, or you know it's your life moment, and even though you're going to navigate the uncertain waters and purchase, you just got to have patience first and foremost, because stuff's not working the way it should. You know, I talked the other day, and people are upset because Amazon's taking like longer to deliver, and I'm like, guys, take a breath, like just chill out. Like I get it, things aren't going to happen like they normally happen.
And the crazy thing is, I'm in the neighborhood of Amazon, so yeah, that totally resonates.
Yeah, so take a deep breath. Things are going to be, but we're still funding a ton of business. We're helping a ton of humans. So it's going to get done. We appraisers, we pivoted. Fannie Mae is allowing drive-bys. And so we're going to get it done for you. But have some patience. And then I really kind of lean on the long-term view of home ownership always. Homes are not, in my opinion, are not an asset to be flipped around. They're where you live. And right now with shelter in place and many of the places in the country, I mean, what a blessing a home is. It's like, it's so taken for granted and so appreciated now that we're stuck here. So I just kind of lean on that, go to have some patience and realize that, I mean, I've owned my home for 15 years, something like that.
Wow.
And it's been amazing. I bought it in 2006 at the peak of the market, like an idiot, because who knew what was going on back then? But now, you turn around and I'm like, I'm so blessed. Like, I'm so lucky that I've been able to live in this wonderful house for so long and raise my kids here. And, so I just think that play the long game in housing and have patience if you're buying right now. And likely, it's a tough comment to say, but if you look at this kind of from an opportunistic perspective, there's going to be houses for sale. And they're going to be houses for sale at probably pretty good pricing.
Yeah, to your point, I've heard a lot of recent reports because just like where you're at in California, in Southern California at that, there's a lot of different businesses that are based out of there. Well, up here we have Zillow, we've got Redfin, who just laid off 40% of their workforce. We have all these different companies that are up here, and the big rumor that's been going around is all those Airbnb houses.
Yeah.
Those are going to be put up for sale right now because they're renting at such a high rate per night that we're banking on those to make the mortgage.
Yep.
And
now there's a silver lining in all this that I look at as at least something that is giving me confidence. And it's that in the United States today, right now, there's more equity in our real estate, in our homes than ever before. And so if people do fall on hard times, they almost have a parachute if they own a house because they have equity in their house.
Yeah.
And so even though it's a tragedy and this whole thing is insane, just the reality that some people are going to be able to sell their house, take that equity and go through this whole thing financially is a blessing, even though it's a terrible situation. So there are people that are going to be selling, and it'll hopefully we're gonna have an amazing housing spring and fall this year. It's going to bounce so hard. We're going to have people buying like crazy.
I was just talking with somebody about that the other day about how, it's almost like the summer buying season for homes has kind of been put on hold, and we'll sit there and maybe go flat for a little bit. But all those homes that people did want to put on the market, those will come out a little bit later. And we probably, instead of thinking it's going to be in May, June, July, August, it's probably going to be July, August, September, October, as far as home buying season. But it just could go so many different ways. So, I mean, really for you, it's, if you had 3 things to pass on, words of wisdom almost, it's be patient.
Yep.
Play the long game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your third,
look for opportunity. Look for opportunity because, look, everyone knows buying stocks when they're down, if you have confidence in that stock and that company, is the time to buy.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, there's going to be opportunity inside this chaos. And I don't mean to say it like we should take advantage of people or try to position it like that. I'm just, that's, by the way, Zoom dog barking. I'm like, dog barking.
Totally it. And like
now, dude.
People that don't know, I have like an 85-pound pit bull. Okay. Now, I inherited this pit bull. Okay. This was my girlfriend's dog. And I swear the first time I met this dog, I was like, sit. And she said, nah, you sit.
Yeah.
Like, a big dog, man. Like, we both just sat down together politely, but you're absolutely right. I mean, my dog sleeps like a cat all day, but somebody walks by and it's like alert. So it is one of the magical pieces.
I love it, dude.
I love Lou. I love dogs. All right.
What else you got for me?
All right. So next one. real estate agents right now are in a bind. I mean, up until about a week and a half ago in Washington State, they weren't deemed as essential employees.
Yeah.
We know that, when it comes to America's wealth, I want to say it's estimated that 60% of America's wealth is in real estate agents being the key to all of that. So here, one of the things that really attracted me to loanDepot was talking about how they are helping agents. So in this time period, what we're going through right now, how is loanDepot helping real estate agents?
Well, the first and foremost and the obvious one is that we're funding a lot of loans. A strong, stable company that continue to execute is crucial. There are companies right now in mortgage that are suffering, that are not able to execute. There's a local OC company that we're not going to kick them down when they're down, but they stopped taking originations.
Yeah.
So there's that going on, and having a stable company to back you in this time of uncertainty is super helpful. I think in addition to that, understanding what a digitally enhanced platform like loanDepot's can do and provide for a customer in these times is crucial. The fact that we can be all digital all the time for any customer and remove human contact in a time when we're not supposed to have any human contact is like a blessing. And I know some customers want to meet face to face and they want to have that human engagement, but right now the ability to do it without it is huge.
Yeah, we're about 7,000 employees. We have a lot, and
yeah,
it was almost like in just a whirlwind as all this stuff started to happen. I think part of it was the first real shelter happened in California, right?
Oh yeah.
Like that. Like we're based out of Cali, so it's you and the rest of the leadership team. You guys just really rallied in just a heartbeat, and we're like, "Here's how everybody's gonna work from home."
Yep, it was crazy, but we've been leaning so heavily into tech for so long that it was a great opportunity to shine. And I think the last part of where we can help real estate agents is that our loan consultants, similar to what you're doing, Sean, they're leaning so heavily into consumer direct contact strategies.
Yeah.
And that for our great realtor partners, it's like they just got another sales agent on their team who's going to help them make contact and relationship with customers and refer them to back to them. And in 2003, when I was wandering around the streets and talking to agents and going to broker previews, which man, I would love to do now, just so weird. I would go in to meet a new agent and they'd always say, "Bring me a buyer." Always bring me a buyer. And I'd be like, I do loans. What do you mean? Like, you bring me people, I didn't. And then you fast forward to 2020 and it's like, yeah, I can. I mean, our Mellow Home platform has given out, 10,000 plus referrals to agents across the last year. Yeah. And I've got loan officers that through their digital marketing and through leveraging loanDepot's lead program are handing out 2 to 3 purchase leads to realtors a month. And it's like, now it's like, yeah, we can help you because we're going direct to consumer. I mean, Sean, you even just putting yourself out there live and playing this game is building relationship with your digital sphere, your digital community.
Absolutely.
And when they come to you and they go, "I'm ready to buy, dude, let's do this. What realtor should I use?" you get the chance to give back. So I think that we have become, and the internet has allowed the industry and those people who are willing to become much more strategic partners to agents than maybe like a vendor that I think maybe we were perceived to be back in the early, a decade or two ago.
Yeah, I mean, I would say to your point, I'm such a football guy at heart. Like everything for me is football. My second love though is basketball. And right now I feel like loanDepot's put themselves in the position of being a great point guard. We're directing everything that's on the court. And our job isn't necessarily to score, but it's to hand out the assist, So it just has been really interesting for me because I've noticed the more that I've been doing the digital marketing, the direct to consumer, like I handed out 5 listings last year to agents, and for those of you who don't know how that works, if somebody refers a listing to a real estate agent, that's the loan officer doesn't get paid on those. It was just more as an incentive of me being a connector. Yep. And I think that more of the great loan officers that we're associating with a lot of them here at loanDepot, they're finding that out with expanding into this digital platform. I mean, real estate agents really had a head start on the game because they were already going direct to consumer, but now mortgage professionals have gotten so into it and been backed by these big companies that it's just going on point. So, all right. Well, that being said, we got some big challenges that are happening in mortgages. I can think of just one every 10 minutes, especially if I'm looking through my email. You probably even more. Man. So we have everything from bond loans, appraisals, things like that, all challenges that are facing the real estate industry. In your opinion, what's the biggest challenge in mortgages today right now? And what are we doing as far as loanDepot to basically combat it?
Well, there's different ways to answer this. And so I'll kind of go with the one that's more consumer centric for our customers and for the humans out there that are living in homes. The largest challenge the industry is going to face is if people don't make their mortgage payments. And I'll kind of land that in a couple different ways. First, we know what happens when people don't make their mortgage payments. We did that in 2008, 2007, 2008. People didn't make their mortgage payments for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Caused one of the greatest economic collapses of in the United States history. And now you kind of look at our time today, massively different scenario, but people are facing hardship. People are facing hardship. And so I think that if I could encourage our country, if you are not facing economic hardship, make your payments. You know, people think this forbearance is forgiveness. They think that because you don't have to actually show any hardship to go into forbearance, that it's like a free ride. You know, forgetting that there's a balloon payment coming at the end that's going to hit them in the face. And the reality is some people will not be able to make their payments. Unemployment is record highs. We understand. And if you're facing economic hardship and you can't make your payments, you know, get by. We got you. But if you're choosing to strategically, you know, push payments, there she is.
Yeah.
If you're choosing to push payments,
I love her.
It's so funny, you know, I'll pause for a second because we were live with Anthony Shea and Barry Habib yesterday.
Yeah.
And you know, when you go live, chaos happens. You know, Anthony's mic goes out and he has to come back in, you know. But look, otherwise these canned videos, they don't connect to people anymore. You know, I just view it that way.
I'm human. I've got, you know, my kids will just jump on in the middle of a call, be like, I see you have
hey, what's up?
Now. like totally do it. And I'm like, oh, here I am. No, I mean, I think you're right. It is being candid. But to unpack a little bit more what you were talking about when it comes to folks making their payments, I totally get the forbearance situation, because if you go a little bit deeper, you know, you have the consumer and they make their mortgage payments to a bank. And in a lot of people's minds, that's where they think it stops. Well,
so here's the reality that you know, a customer makes their payment to a servicer, and the servicer forwards on that payment to the investor.
Yeah. And
so if they don't make their payment to the servicer is still contractually obligated to forward that payment as if they got it to the investor. Right. And what's going to happen is, if a large amount of the United States community, you know, mortgage homeowners don't make the payment to the servicer is forced to payment to the investor. They don't have the money. They're going to go away. And so there's a big fight right now in the legislation world that if the servicers collapse, you know, what the domino effect is gigantic. And they're saying, hey, we need a stimulus package for the servicers. And there's a big argument right now going on. But I just, you know, coming back down to the level down here, if you can make your payment, like, period. It's not a free ride.
Even if you're for the consumer, one thing I brought out to my friends and family, because I've been getting pinged with questions about it, is I have yet to hear TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian say how they're going to handle it.
It's gonna be noted as a forbearance. The worst case is it's going to be noted as late. In the best case, it's going to be noticed. It's going to be reclassified as a forbearance, and it's still going to be a derogatory, because people are still making their payments. So they're going to distinguish between somebody who made their payment and didn't make their payment, whether it's a late or they code it differently.
Yeah,
it's still going to affect your credit. It's still a thing that happened. Now, for some people, they can't avoid this. Like it's dire times, and I understand that, and it's terrible. But if you can't avoid it, you got to avoid it.
And I mean, the other part to that is, we have mortgage programs have changed, and the media hasn't quite caught up to that. A lot of my friends at different companies have all communicated to me, what was our 620 is now our 660, Sean. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you're going to need a 660 credit score to qualify for certain programs. And I'm like, all right, well, if you claim a forbearance and something along those lines, it can take your credit score out of that criteria. And you may not be looking to do something with a home now in this crisis. But the average person makes a move on a house every 3 to 5 years. And so that could potentially come back to bite you.
Well, what we're seeing in the industry right now is fear. Because if you don't make your mortgage payment, then the domino effect affects the lender, and in some places affects the LO. I mean, early payment default, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of loan consultants and professionals out there who get their commission taken back if somebody goes into default. So the company obviously has an effect. So when people don't make their payments, this whole thing's going to slide. So you see mortgage companies kind of starting to back away from what they might consider potential higher risk loans that have a higher likelihood or a higher potential of defaulting under economic duress. And so you see companies making strategic positions to step back from that, because if they go into default, everyone pays. And so that's what's happening across the industry right now.
So as a combative mechanism, like you were talking about earlier, people do have a ton of equity in their home. So maybe it's not necessarily do the forbearance, but look at a debt consolidation refinance. Look at an FHA streamline if that's what you got, a VA streamline. See if there's things that you can do.
100%.
Alternative ways to combat it, because some of those things, yes, they're credit score sensitive, but they don't require an appraisal or income documentation if you're just doing that. I mean, those are different ways that you can do it.
Well, and so the solution to this, as in all situations, is education.
Absolutely.
The solution is education on what can be done, what can't be done, and that's that's our job, and that's your job, is to get out in front of this and educate our community about what is real, what is not real, and solutions.
Okay. Well, what's that being said, we pointed out some things. What's one good thing that has recently happened with all of the COVID-19 stuff that you hope sticks around after all of this is done? Because I mean, let's be real, by the end of the year, hopefully, all of this stuff is behind us, but there's been some good that's come from it. There's been some good in the situation. What's the silver lining?
Man, the mortgage industry has taken leaps and bounds forward, which is incredibly cool. Meaning, Fannie and Freddie have rallied up and passed new legislation to allow for drive-by appraisals instead of going in the house and do desktop reviews. They've allowed we're going to see full digital notarization become the norm.
That's one big thing that I'm like, oh my God.
Yep. And we're going to see customers that can sign from their living room and that can sign with one digital signature, and they don't have to come in and spend 4 hours signing docs. We're going to see a lot of enhancements.
I mean, that's probably the big thing is like, and we're talking, just so everybody's clear, we're talking about your final closing documents to close your mortgage, not your disclosures. When you do that, it's usually anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. But think about what that 45 minutes to an hour entails. You got to get a sitter for the kids. You got to commute from wherever you're at. You got to take off time from work. You have to do all of these things. So call it 3 hours, really, in total.
Well, and look, I know it's an exciting time for some people. They're signing their first documents, and it'll still be exciting. But the digitization that's happening around us and the ability to serve our customers better is a huge win for the industry, and it'll stick around forever after, and it'll be amazing.
Yeah. Those quick closings, they're just getting quicker, and it's also more cost effective for everybody, I would think. So let's see. As we're wrapping up here, one thing I like to ask is, with everything that's going on, do you have a go-to book, quote, or mantra right now?
I mean, it's almost more of a encouragement or a push. People need to become more visible.
Yeah.
And in a time when we could go out into our communities, it was easier, but now it's harder, and we're at home. And the amount of people that I see turning their cameras on and talking and engaging is inspiring, but it's not enough. There are so many great salespeople that I'm terrified for, because I fear they're going to lose their place, and they're going to lose their jobs. They're going to lose their ability to do their business because they're not willing or afraid to put a camera on and talk to the world. And that saddens me, because they're great people, and they're professional, and they're talented, and they are smart and capable, and they're not visible anymore.
I'll tell you.
And so
you're thinking about that. And I mean, Renee Rodriguez has a course called Amplify that I took that has to do with public speaking. And even before that, there was a public speaking class in high school that I took. And then right before that, there was like the marketing class that I took. And it's just all these people skills. No matter how digital we get, it's almost like it's just a compliment to who we are as people. And you still got to be the person. You still have to engage. This is just a different form, right?
100%. And so it's almost like you got to jump off the edge at some point. And we're all on the edge now. We're all forced to sit in the homes. We're forced. We cannot go to broker. We can't meet our real estate partners. We can't go to networking events. We're forced to sit here. And people that are finally jumping off is amazingly fun and amazing to watch. But there are a lot of people that are still just afraid, and that fear is holding them back from their success. And so my push, my encouragement, my song that I'm just trying to push out right now is, it's time. It's time to go live. It's time to put the camera on. It's time to show people who you are and what you do and what you care about, and you'll get better. And it's not terrible. And people aren't judging you and hating you. That's just you hating you and judging you. Stop that. Like, just get out. And I'm encouraged, and I'm also just trying to yell loudly that it's time.
It definitely is. Well, with that being said, and you teed this up perfectly, my last question for you is, I have a ton of loan officer friends, and everybody's been reaching out. Everybody's been sending the memes. We've been talking, just because I think right now we all got to vent. We all got to vent. It's definitely stressful in our industry. So I get it. Not everybody works for loanDepot, but if you had to just send a message out, what would you say to my loan officer buddies that watch this?
First, we're all in this together, and collaboration in this time is crucial. I mean, Anthony Shea was preaching it yesterday. We as an industry have to come together and support each other. I don't care what company you work for. I don't care if you're a broker. I don't care if you're a banker and you do loan. I don't care. We have to thrive together. There's $11 trillion of mortgage debt outstanding in the world today. And it's likely 60% plus are going to be eligible to get their payments to come down. And that has to be all of us. And so the more we can collaborate, the more we can share intel, and the more we can help each other rise up, the better. And then, I'll get really tactical. I'm coaching a lot of loan officers too right now. It's like, look, guys, here's all you need to do right now. You need to show up on all the social platforms once a day with a video and a message. I don't care if it's live or if it's just a pre-recorded one. And you need to send 5 video text messages a day to your past customers, just to check in on a personal, let them know you're here for them. Let them know you have questions. That's it. I know the kids are crazy, and you're in your pajamas and you're figuring it out, and you're homeschooling and whatever you're doing. Show up online once a day, check in with the world, and send 5 personal video text messages to your customers saying, hi, I care about you. I'm thinking about you. I got your back. And just be a connector of people in this time of isolation.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, just a quick bonus question then for you. Who are you looking for who are you looking towards right now? And it doesn't have to be necessarily in real estate or mortgages, but who's inspiring you? Who's driving you? Who's, doing the business the right way and connecting socially? I mean, Gary Vee always comes to mind, Grant Cardone's out there. All those guys are all out there. But for you, for Alec, who's jumping out right now?
I'm more inspired right now so I've spent the last few years working really, really hard to expand my digital connections to the people in our industry. And just to see what they're doing, just to have my hand and thumb on the pulse of the industry. And so, I've got, 15,000 connections on LinkedIn, and I'm maxed out on Facebook and all this stuff. And I'm working really hard just to get connected. Mm-hmm. And so what's inspiring me is the individual right now, like, because I'm seeing more and more people in this industry get up and turn the light on and get the camera on. And so, yeah, I mean, the big dogs, I mean, I've always loved Gary Vee. I find him entertaining and exciting. But I'm most inspired right now by the people who are like, I can tell it's their first time. Like, I can tell. And I'm like, and the lighting's bad and the camera angle is, down here. But like, I'm like, I'm in, dude. I jump in and I comment and I watch and I engage, because that to me is what is inspiring me right now, is the people who are just leaning in.
Yeah, that taking massive action,
Yep.
It's just been huge for a lot of people that I know. For myself personally, I've been living by that whole Mike Tyson theme, is everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
And we've all been punched in the face.
And I'm just taking shots. I've made that analogy of it's almost like real estate and mortgages. There's two ways to look at it. Number one, it's measured in dog years. So you've been in one, it's worth 7, especially these days. It might be worth 3.5 right now.
Yeah.
It just is crazy. But the other thing is, it's like getting into the cage inside of a UFC fight. You don't go in there thinking you're not going to take a hit, because in this industry, I mean, it's like, boom, COVID-19, boom, appraisals are changed, boom, credit scores. But you just got to figure out, are you going to shrink back? Or like you said, are you going to lean in and come out swinging and, have your own game plan? So, no, you've been a huge part of that. I want to thank you for your time. I know you're a very, very busy guy, especially with everything that's going on. Thank you, man, for jumping on this with me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, dude. Keep it up. Take care.
Take care.
I'll see you later, buddy.
Later.